And away we go. It is the BCJ podcast brought to you by the Holy Grail right here on BearcatJournal.com. You're down at the Banks, taking in a Reds game, enjoying the city, whatever it is. Stop by, see our good friends at the Holy Grail. It is the best bar in Cincinnati. They will get you taken care of. Great food, great drinks, and as always, they have Cincy Light on tap. And you can get your Cincy Light at the Holy Grail, and every purchase will add another 50 cents to the Cincy Reigns NIL collective. Going to keep some football players. You guys better start drinking a lot of Cincy Lights. All right, let's get it going, Dave. It's just you and I for now. We were
That's fine.
We're supposed to start the show with a guest live from Vegas, but maybe Keegan found the finest McDonald's in the land.
Wayne Newton is joining us. Did I ever tell you I saw him when I went out there for my 21st birthday?
No.
Oh yeah, got my picture with him and everything. Smelled like 2 bottles of cologne. It was a hilarious evening. Just blue hairs in line. I've seen Wayne 20 times, and he just gets better and better every time.
I met Bob Hope one time.
There you go.
About as good as I got. I was like 10. We were at a hotel in like Paducah, Kentucky.
Very reasonable place to meet Bob Hope.
Yeah. Well, they had like a huge convention center. It was a really nice hotel, but he was doing a show there, and he was locked out of the hotel. And I just happened to be the person that walked past the door. And next thing you know, I'm hanging out with Bob Hope.
Yeah. So in honor of our guest who is at the gym, I'm eating a Blizzard.
Yeah.
Should we just make fun of him until he gets on?
I mean, it's going to be like 13 more minutes. So, yeah, I think probably that would be he went to Chipotle in Vegas.
I know. I've never been more offended by a comment in my life of I got a haircut, went to the gym, and got a burrito bowl from a chain restaurant during my first full day in Las Vegas.
One, but there's a lot wrong with that. There's a lot wrong with that, okay? One, he doesn't have somebody that cuts his hair. He went to Vegas to get a haircut? Like, I don't understand that.
Wouldn't that have cost like 4 times what you would pay here?
Right. And you're letting somebody you don't have, like, you can't know, cut your hair. I can't grasp that one.
I can't say. I mean, not that it was a vacation. He's out there to work. But yeah, I don't think I've ever decided, you know what? I'm going to go find a place to shave my head while I'm out on
vacation or out of town in general. I've never gotten a haircut in a city I didn't live in. It's never happened. 2, the gym. I know we're going to get made fun of for this take. I don't really care. You go to Vegas, like, somebody should take you out at the knee if they see you in the gym. I'm just saying. And 2 or 3. Chipotle. I told him last night.
That one to me it's the worst. The haircut is bad. I don't have as big of a problem with the gym. If you're a gym person and you like to work out, you don't want to mess up, your gains or your routine or whatever. I mean, I can understand you had a long night. I just want to get in there, get like 20-minute cardio, sweat it out. At least I feel a little bit better.
No, he had just gotten off the plane.
I'm saying, like, if that is your mindset, I can understand that. But the Chipotle thing, like, it's not even good to begin with.
Right. It's bad.
Regardless of where you are in the country, it's not that good. And you're in, I would say, top 5-ish, definitely top 10 food cities in the country, and your choice is to go to Chipotle.
probably top 10 in the world.
No,
In
not
terms of options and things
well,
like
I mean, yes, options maybe, but food, like good. I'm just saying, like good food.
yeah. But I'm saying, my point being, there's thousands of restaurants you've never eaten at before in your life in Las
Literally
Vegas.
thousands.
That's what I mean by like a food destination, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yes, literally
Maybe not
thousands.
best food, like in terms of, like Venice or like whatever, but great food options. I'm just going to stop and hit up this Chipotle.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So whatever
Anyhow.
goes back to Vegas, we're sending a new crew.
Yeah,
Well, no, he can go to work. I'll go. You and I
we're
can go.
going.
We're going to be like the fans on the street. We'll have the fun stuff.
Can I be on Radio Row?
I think we're going to have to do that next year.
We need to try to do that.
Even back in Dallas. We might have to rent a van and drive everybody down there again, which is fine. That was a great time. So, we can go that route again. But I think we need to do the Radio Row thing for sure. And then, like, go do whatever Keegan is not doing.
Yeah, we're gonna go have fun, and he can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, we're like, Keegan, what are you doing? Okay, what is the opposite of that? And then we'll go do that.
Do we know if he made a single wager yet?
I would guess not. I mean, we can ask him.
Actually, where is he staying?
I think he's like across. So there's the Flamingo, and then there's a Hilton Flamingo across from it.
The question actually should be: has he actually stepped foot into a casino?
I mean, maybe walking through his hotel, or probably not. I think he had dinner at the Bellagio.
Oh yeah, he did.
So maybe he's like brushed through. Aaron cut his hair. Carrie, no, he didn't cut his hair. He's just got it pulled back.
No shot. No.
I didn't
go to Vegas.
Yeah, how can you get a haircut if you're not in Vegas?
Didn't need a haircut. Didn't need a. I mean, like, what's a Great Clips haircut in Vegas cost?
$83.
I want to know what salon he went to and how many dollars over 100 he spent on his haircut so he could then feel okay about eating his $9 burrito bowl. Instead of not getting your haircut and spending $100 on dinner, he spent that money on a haircut.
Yeah, and then had to get Chipotle.
Right. I mean, the only time I've eaten that type of McDonald's or Chipotle is either at 4 a.m. or when I've ran out of all my money within the first 12 hours I've been there, and I have to eat that because that's all I can afford at that point.
Well, hold on, Josh. He was invited to dinner.
He didn't pay for it.
Right. Like, he was part of a dinner at the Bellagio. This was not his idea. So, anyhow. We've now done almost 10 minutes ripping on Keegan.
We don't need to talk about any of my dinner experiences in Vegas. Buddy, I got a good one. Even with mom listening, it's not that bad, but
anyhow.
Yeah.
Media days, Dave.
Well, media days.
We have turned the corner. We have passed the 4th of July, which in this industry, it's kind of like it's time. We're not all the way to camp yet, but it's right around the corner. Although we did some math, Dave. Camp's not going to be at Higher Ground very long this year.
I was listening when you guys talked about that on Monday night because of school was starting a little early or something, comparatively speaking.
Well, the first game is a little later. I think it's normally a week earlier, like in terms of the date, right?
Well, the first game is always Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, but I think it's usually a couple days earlier than that, isn't it?
So, well, I mean, this
It's the
year the first
31st.
game, the first game is the 31st because Labor Day's on the on
Right.
that first Monday in September.
It's
Sometimes
right around there,
it
whatever.
falls, the first couple days in September.
You get 28 days
Yeah.
from their first game to start practice. So they can't start until the 3rd, if that's right. And then they have to be back on the 19th for the first day of class. So there's not going to be a whole lot of time. Classes start on the 19th. So they'll probably be back on the 16th or 17th. So it looks like it's going to be one of the shorter, just straight 2 weeks out at higher ground, which, it is what it is. They'll come back and they'll still have practice every day and treat it like the final week of camp when they get back to campus, and then go into game week when that is time. So I think the big difference being they'll have a week and a half to 2 weeks back on campus instead of a week before they get into game week. But that's usually open for media, and we're there. So it's not going to change a whole lot for us. Just less time at higher ground.
Yeah.
Opening impressions, Dave, from afar. You were not there. I thought you might try to get out there to meet up with Dan Simon, but
No,
you did not make it out.
I'm leaving tomorrow for a wedding in Michigan, so just not working out.
Okay, well, that happens. I understand.
Yeah.
But anywho, give me your.
Well, we might be funny you bring him up. We might be talking to Mr. Simon sometime in the not too distant future, by the sounds of the rumor mill in Las Vegas. Because
Really?
it certainly sounds like Mr. Yormark is doing his thing again.
Yeah, we can leave with this. That is not the news I expected out of the ACC, or the rumors I expected out of the ACC.
I mean, if you're gonna fish, you may as well.
Yeah, I just didn't think they were going to have the keys to the gate on that pond. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I certainly agree. If you were, because it was always, and we were talking about there's at least Ross Dallinger reported it for Yahoo in an article. I believe yesterday, and he didn't really go super far with it, but he certainly gave the impression that there is some level of engagement on the Big 12's behalf. Can't speak on whether it's being reciprocated or not, but on the Big 12's behalf with Clemson and Florida State.
So there have been some other people talking about this that have said that the SEC and Big Ten are not interested in Florida State and Clemson at this current time.
Right. I think
that's where this is coming from in terms of them talking to the Big 12.
Right. I imagine they're looking at it of the standpoint of we've made these big moves. And in the Big Ten's case, I feel it's accurate to say there was a bit of pulling teeth involved to get everybody on board with these moves. Let's get everything settled first. So maybe they're not super eager to push right back into this situation, which could, I guess, conceivably give the Big 12 the opportunity here. I mean, yeah,
right.
I don't think it would be either of those programs' first choices, but just like we saw last year, I don't really think it was any of the Four Corner schools' first choices to leave the Pac-12, but they were kind of left with no choice. Will Clemson and Florida State get to a point where they feel the same way? I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but I mean, you can't look at what he's doing, at him being Brett Yormark, and think that for any amount of time he was just gonna stop on this front. You can't, and Florida State and Clemson wouldn't even do this, but you can't have him out there yesterday saying, my goal is to be the best conference. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by saying like they don't really have programs in the conference currently that allows him to make that claim. I don't really think adding Clemson and Florida State really allows him to make that claim either. But if that is your goal, you have to.
You're not going to get there by adding Louisville and West Virginia
and
from
Pitt.
the ACC.
Well, and Pitt and
right. That's what I'm getting at.
The only chance you have of even coming close to backing up that statement is to add the two, from a football standpoint, add arguably the two best properties in that conference. So, again, I don't think it's. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't think, because I really don't know.
Your opinion is that
it will still stun me if it happens, but it's not going to stun me as much as anymore because the guy kind of does what he says he's going to do every step of the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's never made one of these bold claims and then done nothing. He could not be in politics. His promises generally hold up pretty well.
Yeah. Or maybe he should be. He actually gets shit done.
Now that they'd run him out so fast, you wouldn't even know what your name was. Like, there's no place for that in politics.
Yeah. But no, from a non-UC standpoint, I would say that was one thing that caught my attention. And then the other thing that caught my attention was the conversation of different windows for football games, which is kind of from a broadcasting standpoint, it's kind of a catch-22 to me. And you kind of have to look at it. You have to look at it from the league perspective and not the fan perspective.
Right.
Everybody who's like, this is a terrible idea, views it from them as the fan. And I agree. Like, I don't want more Thursday and Friday night games. As a fan who goes to the games, I like going to the games on Saturday. I brought up 11 a.m. Eastern games, which I think is a no-brainer. I don't know why any conference hasn't been doing this already.
Right.
From a fan perspective, I don't want to go to a game at 11 a.m., but he's looking at it from a league perspective and a dollars and a exposure and being in that window at 11. You know how many people would watch that 11 a.m. kick for an hour and then, if it's a good game, not change the channel?
Right. The only thing I worry about ESPN actually going through with that is that would take away from their game day.
It right.
Audience.
To me, it's what channel are you on? Does it make it worth it? Like, they're not going to be on Big Fox. They're not going to be on ESPN because they're not going to go away from the game. But are you on ESPN2? Are you on FS1? Or does it get buried on ESPNU or a streamer? If that happens, then it's not worth it.
Right.
Because they're not going to give you a ton of money to put it on those channels. But if it's, we'll just do the either or. Like, if you're a UC fan in Florida and it's UC versus Oklahoma State the first weekend in November, when it's just a full slate of games all day Saturday, would you rather be at 3:30 on ESPNU or ESPN Plus, or would you rather be at 11 a.m. on FS1?
I mean, I personally would rather not 2 games at 11 a.m. if they're at home.
I mean,
if you're on the road,
from just a fan perspective, not going to the game. Fan perspective that is not coming to the game. Like, I would want the exposure. I would want the better platform. I would want the standalone opportunity versus just being buried in amongst 30 other games. If I'm looking at this from the league standpoint, it's a no-brainer to me from the league standpoint. Now, I don't know how much pushback you get from the 3 East Coast schools, UC West Virginia and UCF. They're like, no, hell no, you're not bumping my 3:30 game to 11 a.m.
What would the West Coast schools think? That's a 8 a.m. game.
Yeah, they'd trap. You're right. But I mean, they're already doing this year, Black Friday, Oklahoma State, Colorado, I think, is at 10 a.m. Central. So we're already kind of doing these unique windows. I think the more likely thing, and I disagree. I would rather have one UC. I would rather bite the bullet and have one UC 11 a.m. home game versus more Thursday or Friday night games.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night. It doesn't even matter what NFL game you're up against. You're going to get dominated. And,
I like the weeknight games.
I don't mind them, but if you're asking me as a fan which one I'd rather go to, I'd rather go to the 11 a.m. because it gives me pretty much all day then to do whatever I want after.
Well, guess what a Thursday night game does, Dave?
Well, yes.
It gives you
Gives
all
you
Saturday.
all day Saturday. I feel like we're already gonna get into those anyway. Like, they're already doing a few Fridays. I think Thursday's the next logical thing. But if you're really trying to think of ways to capture the full college football fan spectrum, it's that 11 a.m. window on Saturdays.
I guess.
Hello, Keegan. I'm enjoying your haircut. It looks nice.
Thank you. Is my connection okay, or is it bad?
It's better than the first time you were here.
It's real nice.
Okay.
The first time it was a little rough.
Yeah, that was my hotspot because the hotel Wi-Fi has been bad on my phone the whole time. So I just tried my hotspot, but I guess it's working.
You're at a bad hotel, so the Wi-Fi is probably not going to be great. First question. Why get a haircut in Vegas and not in Cincinnati?
So I have a guy in Cincinnati, and he was either on vacation or randomly booked out the whole 2 weeks leading up to when I was leaving, because my goal was to get one on the 7th and then leave on the 8th. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot, and I am going to get one in Vegas the day I get there before media days. So I went to this random place. Actually got screwed at the first place I was going to go to because I tried to request an appointment for 11. I tried to request an appointment for 11. They booked it at 2. They were just like, I can't do 11, but I can do 2. And then they booked it. So I showed up at 11. They're like, no, it's at 2. So I call this guy. I'm like, do you take walk-ins? He goes, yeah. I go to this place completely empty, one person. I'm like, this is either going to be the best or worst haircut I've ever gotten in my life. And it was actually pretty decent. So
it's not the best. I mean,
you know what? I don't want no. I don't want to hear it. In terms of getting a fade, I think he did a great job, and he was a good dude. So,
well, I guess it's different if that's what you asked for. But
oh, what a jab right there. That's tough.
What'd you have for dinner tonight? McDonald's, Burger King, Chipotle?
I haven't had dinner yet. I'm probably gonna get Gordon Ramsay's fish and chips.
Is that
because I heard that's really good,
hotel,
and it's hard to mess up. It's
right
next to it.
Where is that? Resort World? Is that where that one is?
No, it's like the Link something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Link Lane, where In and Out is. But yeah.
How was In and Out? You weren't a fan?
Oh, I would eat there again in a heartbeat. It's good. I'm just saying for the hype, I'd rather pay for Five Guys and get Five Guys burgers. There's more quality, more flavor. The fries are way better. And I've never even had a milkshake at Five Guys, but the milkshake at Five Guys is better.
The fries at In and Out are trash.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah,
the burgers.
I got them animal style. They were pretty good. But
I was there once when I was in Vegas, and I just got 2 burgers and just no fries.
Fries aren't great.
Gotcha.
Have you stepped foot in a casino outside of going to dinner at the Bellagio?
Yeah, I've been in the Cromwell.
Have you placed a wager?
No, I ain't doing that. I'm spending too much money on Ubers and Lyfts,
or haircuts.
Or a glass of wine.
That's fine. Spend money on good wine. I will never make fun of anybody for doing that. Believe me.
Essentially, you paid what, like $60 to go to the gym on this trip? For an Uber to the gym and back?
The Uber is only like $12.
A very nice 12-ounce ribeye or something with a nice side for that money.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah,
I'd rather go to the gym.
We live 2 different lives, clearly.
Dave, I talked to him about most of this stuff last night, so have at it.
Okay.
I've never been more disappointed in an employee in my whole life than Keegan on this Vegas.
He's really screwing up the whole Bearcat Journal ethos.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm having a freaking blast out here, and I'm having so much fun. And every decision I made is being judged. Like, you suck at going to Vegas, but I'm having fun.
You've literally done. I've been to Vegas. I've probably been to Vegas at least 5 times. I won't say 10. 3 things I've never done there: get a haircut, go to the gym, or eat Chipotle.
You've never gotten a haircut at Vegas? I figured you'd be the first one.
Yeah, just shave the head. I'm paying him $50 to do what I do at home. Yeah.
You can do a beard trim. Get a nice little beard trim.
I have 2 hands and able to do that as well. I've been shaving since 8th grade. I'm pretty good at it. Let's see. Actual football stuff. For anybody that didn't listen to the nightcap, was there anything from a player or a coach that made you sit up a little bit that we have not been talking about, over these last however many months?
Have you talked about Mike Gundy yet?
Oh, no, I mean from UC standpoint, not anybody else.
From a UC standpoint, I talked to Sat about the cornerbacks, and while that was a really bad room last year, there's still some figuring out they have to do going into fall camp this year after Jordan Young. So basically, Jordan Young is the boundary corner. He's the cornerback 1. But then after that, whether it's Jordan Robinson or Monty Arnold, Kalen Carroll, and then you have the true freshmen and Willie Goodwin and Zaravion Johnson. I think kind of seeing how that room shapes out is going to be really interesting because you have the different dichotomies of different experience levels, different proven like careers so far in terms of FCS guys and SEC guys. So that was something that was interesting to me. And then, Derek Canteen was complimentary of all those cornerbacks as well. I tried to get it out of him. Like, who's after Jordan Young? Like, who's stepping up? He's like, I honestly couldn't even tell you.
Are you going to be a starting corner? Derek Canteen.
Derek? He told me he's going to be a safety. I asked him about being a safety. He said he's a boundary safety.
Okay. Until they get to camp and he's the second best corner, and they move him to corner.
Well, I do want to ask, Canteen is, of the four guys there, the one that we all would know the least about. What did you think of just your, it might have been first real interactions with him? Anything that he said particular, just, probably the guy that we know the least about. So what were your thoughts there?
I just think he's a genuinely good dude to deal with. He's super talkative, super willing to like entertain the media, willing to answer questions extensively and with all the detail that we need, which is rare especially for a guy that hasn't even been here for a full year. But the number one thing that I realized about him is just when he was talking about Dante, I thought it was really interesting to hear about his relationship that he's already formed with him. Just getting here in December, January is when he would have gotten here. Just seeing Dante in the weight room before they left and how much that meant to see him just in good spirits and with a smile on his face. That was really cool. But yeah, I think that kid's like, he conducts himself like a professional. I know that like he had opportunities, maybe late round pick, undrafted free agent, just because of the pedigree that he had coming out of Georgia Southern and Virginia Tech. So he had to make sure all the boxes were checked in terms of coming to Cincinnati. And he told us, the coaches were clear with me that the standard last year needs to be higher. So he's already formed like a leadership role coming to media days in place of Dante Corleone, since Dante definitely would have been there if he was healthy enough to go. So that's impressive that he's been able to do that, earn the trust of the coaching staff, the support staff, and his teammates to be able to represent them in Vegas.
Let's see, what else do I got? There's been obviously talk about the, collective, everybody pulling in the same direction. How much, did you sense anybody was ready to kind of take those comments a little further, or did everybody play things very down the line and didn't want to go, too far out with any of their opinions on last year and any potential reasoning behind the 3-9 season?
Out of the four guys that were there, I think they were all they're all looking forward to the season. Yeah, they're buttoned up.
All their notes were aligned.
Yeah, Zach Stipe got to him. He made sure that everything was lined up properly. Luke Kandra had a funny comment. I don't know if you saw it, but someone asked about like how hard was last season. And he said, look, I mean, we're moving on together as a group. It's different than last year. He's like, people were fighting, and then he had to correct himself, like not physically fighting, but just like arguing. That's pretty good that he had to correct himself there. But I think the guys that are going to complain about last year probably aren't on the team anymore. I'll say that. I think those are the guys that are going to stick on what that experience was like and try to dig into it. But from the majority of these guys, and especially the leaders, I think their want to win, their want to flip the script is higher than their want to dwell on last season and how much it sucked. I think that's Satterfield's job a lot of the time to answer the questions about that and just answer the moving on questions. But I think these guys just want to play. And I think that was the vibe that I got from all four of them, especially Mason Fletcher. He sounds like the most motivated out of all of them to get on that field and play, especially coming off last season, dealing with the sports hernia, not 100%. So, I'm excited to see him in his final season and Luke in his final season before he goes to the draft. And then that back end of the defense is super intriguing to me because I feel like you just have so much maturity. And then you have maturity in Mekhi Miller and Derek Canteen, and then you have kind of unproven, untapped talent in Kai Stokes. So it's kind of got to merge together and get some turnovers.
What? I just had a thought and now I forgot it.
Probably should spend more time at the gym, Dave.
Probably should. I know I need to. I know I need to do that.
It's good for your mental capacity.
Yeah. It's So, what were your thoughts on Totino's being the new title sponsor? Did you get any pizza rolls, or does that mess up the games?
I did not. It messes up the gains. I did not get any pizza rolls. They had a Cuban sandwich today for lunch. That was pretty good.
Was there still any beef jerky, or are they totally out and pizza rolls are in?
Well, all I saw were bags that were like, I don't know, this big. I don't know, like that. Yeah. Last year they had the big 16-ounce bags because
they're not the title sponsor anymore. They're not gonna give out the big bags for being the secondary sponsor. Yeah, I would have hammered a good number of pizza rolls. I can guarantee you that.
Was there in the food options? Was there just a tray of pizza rolls?
Yeah, I saw some of the players just hammering them on Twitter today.
Yeah. It wasn't yesterday. It was just today. But they had like a buffet tray of pizza rolls that people were just grabbing. And
how many?
I saw Brett Yormark go over there. I don't know if he's a pizza rolls guy. I didn't have any pizza rolls. I got a veggie banh mi sandwich, and I realized it had tofu on it.
I can't do this.
I took one bite and
you just said it.
Disgusting.
You just said it. A veggie banh mi sandwich with tofu on it.
It wasn't good. I hated it.
No shit. I looked at it and I was like, a veggie banh mi sandwich with tofu on it.
I looked at it and I was like, that's tofu, but I don't want to throw the whole sandwich away. So I took one bite and I was like, that's eating a sponge. And then I threw it away. Okay? I'm sorry. I passed up on a Caribbean jerk.
You go against everything Dave and I stand for at the heart of this company.
I am a perfect offset of you two. I am necessary.
I mean, I'm starting to disagree.
Josh throws out a great recommendation. Ate there last April. Carmine's inside the Caesars Forums. Get your big old veal parmesan.
Oh yeah, I'll go ahead.
Nice bottle of Camus. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
I
sent him money to have a good time in Vegas, Dave. Apparently spent it on a haircut.
No, okay, so here's the thing. You did that smartly, because if I'd have gone, you would not have given me a dime, because you know I would have taken all the money and put it on roulette as soon as I got there, and I either would have had an even better time, or I would have been eating Chipotle the whole time. So, you know.
I would rather have sent money for that.
I know you would. I know you would.
I am having a freaking blast.
I sent Keegan money to have a good time, and he spent the money on Ubers to and from the gym.
I like how he's saying he's having a blast, and if I was there with him, I'd have been like, this is the worst trip of my life.
Yeah.
If I had to do everything that he's doing, they're like, David, you're going to do whatever Keegan does. I'd been like, this is awful. How fast can I get back to Cincinnati?
When does the plane leave? Can I catch an earlier flight?
I literally could have gone to the Hard Rock Casino downtown, hit the Chipotle up in Newport, and got a haircut at Sports Clips, and done the exact same thing you did.
It's not wrong, Keegan. It's not wrong.
I don't show up to work hungover. It's not what I do.
Neither do I.
Right. Just don't get hungover.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's called practice, Keegan. It's called practice.
I feel like I did have another Bearcat related question, but then you went in on the damn veggie banh mi with the tofu, and I totally lost any train of thought that I had.
Ooh.
Did you
I mean, Dave.
What?
Dave, complete straight face. Did you get some pizza rolls? No, but I had a veggie banh mi.
But he tried to quantify it by saying it was bad. I don't care if it was the best veggie banh mi ever.
Right. You made the choice. You saw pizza rolls Caribbean jerk or veggie banh mi, and your brain said veggie banh mi is my jam. That's what we're going with here.
He's totally been overtaken by the fitness mindset. He can't lay that to rest for 48 hours.
You're
to
in
enjoy
Vegas
himself.
for 2 days, bro.
I got in and out.
You want applause for getting a cheeseburger chain? Like, I would applaud you if you were like, yeah, I sat at a blackjack table and played for 4 hours and had 15 free drinks, and then they comped me the buffet, and I've been like, yes, now we're talking.
He's realizing his life is managed by complete degenerates.
We should just make him go to Vegas with me the next time I go.
Oh, we're all three going, and we're going to show Keegan what Vegas is all about.
Practically twice as old as you, too. Might actually be. Chad might be.
I think I'm 1 year short of being twice as old as Keegan. Close enough.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm thinking.
No, go ahead. I'm too
I still don't have anything
upset to ask questions.
Go ahead. Anything? Oh no, sorry. Go.
What was the Coach Prime circus like today? And are you glad you're not on that beat?
Yes, I texted you and I said this would be freaking exhausting trying to cover him. So basically, I'm sitting.
He actually said, Dave, he did say he would need. He did say he would need to pick up a cocaine habit to be on the Prime beat.
You would have to develop a what?
If he was covering Prime, he would need to pick up an uppers habit.
I mean, I don't know with all his gym time if his body can handle that.
I deserve that.
You did. You did.
So basically, I'm 15 rows back, like working on stories, and I just see people sprinting over to like there's like two sides. It's the length of the field. There's two sides. On the right side is where everyone comes in from. And I just see people sprinting over there. And like he's walking to the podium from the 50-yard line. He's got like 15 news people with cameras just watching him walk. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And then he gets up there and he's himself. Like there was one guy that asked about like, I want to ask you a question about winning culture. And then Dion just goes, what is winning culture? Like what is win? Like he just went into a philosophical rant about winning culture before the guy could even finish his question. I'm like, this dude is insane. And then nice
to say about
basically,
Cincinnati.
Yeah, he did. He said that on the Pivot podcast. I think it was last year. But it was surprising when he said in his opening remarks, he was like, yeah, the Cincinnati game's a sellout. Like, I guess that's the first sellout they've had, but they played Baylor at home before Cincinnati. So I was confused. Maybe it is the first sellout. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's homecoming. Could be. And then like basically how it works is they go up on the big stage and then there's a backdrop with where they stand for a scrum. Most coaches go over there. I don't think Sonny Dykes did it. Maybe it was Chris Kleiman. But most of them go and stand over there. And I mean, there's 100 people standing there waiting for him to come down. He's still on the stage talking. Because if you don't get there early for the big guys, like you're not going to get a spot. You're not going to be able to see them, get video, or ask any questions. So there's 100 people over there waiting. And he just gets done, comes off the stage, and walks right past them. He just didn't do a scrum. Like, this dude is crazy. But yeah, he stole the show today. Last year, Parents Week. Okay, that makes sense. He didn't add that in there, Coach Prime. That was marketing. What was I going to say? But last year, the storyline was Oklahoma, Texas, their final media days. This year, it was all about Coach Prime. And And then also, apparently, Yormark gave them a massive signing bonus to join the league, and didn't give any of the other.
I heard they got $2.5 million. Not massive, but yeah.
Still,
I mean, I don't know if that's confirmed or if
that's a lot of haircuts and Chipotle burrito bowls.
Yeah, it is.
That would make me very happy.
Speaking of though, how was your dinner at the Bellagio, and how do you? You don't have to spill any inside. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But anything from your time with the guys Monday night worth sharing?
Worth sharing. We got. I don't know. I don't want to expose anything because I really want to be invited back next year, wherever they do it.
Well, no, Chad and I are going next year. You're going to cover the team. We're going to all the fun things.
Wherever it is. So the plan for next year is you are going to work, and then we're going to do whatever it is that's the exact opposite of what you do.
That's fine. That's what I do. That's why you hired me. That is quite literally why I'm on staff.
It's fair.
That's fair. Dan Horde is not a beets guy. One of the appetizers we got was beets.
Neither am I. And, so good. I'm glad to hear it.
Beets are good. I've never had them before.
I think they taste like dirt.
I thought they were good.
Did you talk to Dan about how he only likes hot sandwiches?
Yeah, that was when he said he's not a beets guy. I was like, so beets or cold sandwiches? Which one do you hate worse? And he was like, beets.
Wow. Okay. That's big. That man hates cold sandwiches with the fire of 1,000 suns.
What did
hold on. Jason's got a great point. This is exactly correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, next time I'm gonna stay out until 4 a.m. and get like hammered and show up the media day hungover, throwing up in the garbage can.
I'm not buying anything you're selling. Nothing. That's a lie.
That's what I think you go there for.
You act like the alternative was like going and working construction. You were in a stadium on your computer. You could have literally stayed up until media day started and been totally okay to ask like 4 questions and send out some tweets. You could have done it. I have faith in you.
My job feels so insignificant.
No, your job is very significant. But let's not act like you couldn't have stayed out pretty late and still done a good job at
it. Not to my standard. Not to the Bearcat Journal standard.
What did
I guarantee Springer was out later than you.
Probably.
Jim Kelly,
I was in bed
Kelly
at
10. Definitely was.
Jim Kelly was out later.
I was in bed at 10.
Sure.
Probably saw some good.
And he's also growing out he's growing out his beard, and the dude looks good.
Yeah, he probably saw some good. Probably saw a good band, had some nice cocktails, had a good time. What did Luke Kandra? What kind of steak did he put down at dinner? Like a big 30 ounce.
I think it was the 16 ounce ribeye.
All right.
Yeah. Me and Scott contemplated putting the 30 ounce. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You could have shared a Chateaubriand.
Yeah, just this big. Just slap it down on the table.
It's a great cut. Perfect steak for 2.
Oh gosh.
So the 117. I heard you say it's not that hot. I don't believe after these first 49 minutes. I don't believe anything you're saying about this trip anymore.
It is. I have not said it's not hot, but even the the Uber drivers I've talked to that live out here, a lot of them moved here from the Midwest, and they say it is much better to be in an oven than in a boiling pot of soup, which is what they compare the Midwest to to the West Coast.
I did see Brett McMurphy and someone else were playing golf the other day on like Monday in the middle of the afternoon. I'm thinking, why? Why would you do that to yourself?
I thought about it. I'm probably gonna do it next year.
Surprised you didn't go for a run outside.
No, I knew I wasn't gonna do that. No, I knew I wasn't gonna do that. That's too far. But yeah, I mean it's hot, but I don't immediately start sweating.
You should go to the Mirage.
It's not close to
tonight.
Yeah, the Mirage is kind of cool for me.
Because it's closing and they have to pay out all progressive slots by law before they close.
So yeah.
Oh, then I'm staying away from that. Gonna be some freaking characters.
Oh, it's chaos over there right now.
The characters are the fun part.
Yeah. I mean, I've been at a roulette table before when this woman won so much money, she whipped the calculator out of her purse to make sure that they were paying her the right amount.
I did walk by some lady that needed a hand payout for like a $1,200 slot machine win, which was cool. So
the things that you think are cool and I think are cool are a lot different. A lot different.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Here's what's unfortunate, Dave. Keegan is going to get to our age, and his stories are like he's going to have kids, and he's going to tell his kids stories.
Dad, have you ever been to Las Vegas?
Dad sucks.
Yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. Well, how are the casinos? I don't really know.
I saw a lady win $1,200 on a slot machine. I got a nice fade while I was there.
I did. I got a great fade.
Spent half my time in an Uber going back and forth to the gym and Chipotle.
What did you think of Allegiant
I
Stadium?
have got Chipotle.
Allegiant Stadium. Allegiant Stadium versus AT&T Stadium. Who wins?
AT&T. AT&T. It's not close. Okay.
Really?
And that is a credit to how awesome AT&T is.
It is awesome.
It's so much bigger. I think Allegiant is 60,000, something like that. It's not that big of a capacity stadium, which is by design, I think. I don't think that they were going for AT&T or SoFi level. But I mean, AT&T is a football stadium. Like that is perfectly designed.
Allegiant can hold 65,000, but can expand to hold more than 70,000 for select events.
Like WrestleMania next year.
Yeah. And AT&T is like 112 or something. Like it's so much.
No, it's like
bigger.
in the 80s. It's like in the 70s.
No, it can hold over 100.
Well, I mean, like for a Cowboys game, like seating capacity.
No,
it's
for
awesome.
a college game, they've done over 100, I think.
AT&T can hold 80,000 or up to 105,000 with standing room.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I might be on an island on this one. I don't think SoFi is I was not impressed at all when I went there. People talk about like it's the best stadium in the country, and it's like not even in my top 5 of like the newer awesome stadiums that I've been to.
Well, it's kind of it's just the new age. Like it's just the new kind of stadium, and it was the first of its kind in terms of
the roof is cool, but there's so much wasted. There's so much wasted money there. When you leave your seat, there's no TVs like in the concourse. So like we were at the Super Bowl, you go to the bathroom, you have no idea what's going on until you get back to your seat. It was.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
It was. I mean, I would put my favorite is Lucas Oil, and then Cowboys Stadium is awesome. Ford Field I liked a lot. Went there this year. Atlanta Stadium is awesome. It's almost too awesome. Most fans don't even sit in their seats to watch the Falcons game. They're like hang out in the bars and stuff. It's not a very good home field advantage. But yeah, those would all be ahead of SoFi to me. I've heard the Viking Stadium might be the best. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, Lucas Oil just has so much character. It's awesome. That's probably one of my favorites. I went there for a Rams game, and I sat and the end zone facing the city, and you can like see the skyline through the windows of the opposite side of the stadium.
Yeah. Anything else, Bearcats, from the media day? It didn't seem like there was much discussion regarding their place in the poll because, I mean, you go 3-9. What do you expect?
Yeah. That is something I'm going to have like a kind of general notebook coming out in the next couple of days. But Satterfield, he was asked about that. And he said, I mean, I don't compare it too much, or I don't look at it too much or put too much stock in it. He's like, we have 46 new scholarships. I don't even know like what we can do. How do they know what we can do?
Right.
Like every team looks so different.
I mean,
yeah.
The Big 12 is pretty loaded at quarterback though. So I think that part of the top end of the conference is not easy to place, but you know, if you've got a returning coach, if you've got a returning quarterback, if maybe you were lucky enough to keep one or both coordinators, you probably get the benefit of the doubt especially if you're coming off of a pretty good season. But like my whole thing was, what, they were picked 14th. Like if they were picked 12th, does it really change anything? Like it's kind of the same situation as last year. Like
you're still picked to be bad,
right? I put out the very official, very researched Bearcat Journal poll and had them 13th. So you know I'm a little higher on them than the than the assembled
significantly
yes.
higher.
Yes, I researched it so much I have no idea who anybody's playing home and away. I just picked teams, kind of like we did the one year we drew them out of a hat.
Unfortunately, I think that got sent to me this year while I was in Orlando for volleyball, so I didn't like. I didn't. So we missed on that content this year. We'll have to make sure.
Yeah, hopefully
for next year.
Maybe next year or for basketball. That one would be fun too. We should draw out of a hat for basketball.
I mean, but in basketball, the fun thing about basketball is you could draw out a hat if you do it in segments. Like I think
I want to do it the whole way because I wanted to be like, who the hell gave the team a first place vote?
The only reason that worked for the AAC was because we were right. That there was two at the top.
It was UC and Houston, and then, yeah.
And everybody in the middle was trash. Middle of the road trash.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking.
I guess. Go ahead.
I'm looking at the media poll, and it. Go ahead. I'm looking at the media poll, and it basically lines up with what you're saying about, you know, if you have a quarterback coming back and you know what you're getting from that position, they basically give you the benefit of the doubt because it's Utah, Cam Rising, Kansas State, Avery Johnson, Oklahoma State, Alan Bowman, Kansas, Jalen Daniels, Arizona, Noah Fatita, Iowa State, Rocco Becht, West Virginia, Garrett Green, UCF, KJ Jefferson. And then it starts with Texas Tech in terms of who's coming back. What do you have? TCU's at 10. I know they have Josh Hoover, had a decent season. But I guess they just don't like Shador, or they're just going opposite of the EA college football rankings because they have Colorado 11th. But
they also had them in like the top 25 offenses in the country in EA, and they were like 90-something in yards per play.
And they were worse on defense, and they have a top 25 defense. That's even more.
The best part about the coach quarterback thing. The best thing about the coach quarterback thing, though, is it doesn't even matter if your quarterback can stay healthy or play. As long as they're on your roster and people think they're good,
right,
you're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think I had Oklahoma State 1. I know I was higher than Arizona, higher on Arizona, even with the coaching change. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. I like Arizona because I got three or four like top level dudes. And then I like West Virginia more than the media did. I had them fifth maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I probably could have put UC one spot higher over. I think I had Baylor than UC, but I mean, at this point, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
UCF is.
Go ahead.
UCF is probably right about where they would be where they should be with the quarterback thing, because I don't know how you guys feel about KJ Jefferson, but what I've heard about him is he's a mobile quarterback who kind of struggles throwing, and he's not that mobile. Like he's a heavy runner. He's a good heavy runner, but he's not like a running threat, I guess is what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a running threat.
He's
going to run you over. Like he's not going to run by you, but he's a threat to run.
I think he's good. I think based on his mugshot, I wasn't sure if they brought him in as a quarterback or a defensive end, but
too big. He's too big for defensive end, Dave.
No, you can play the strong side in a three.
Yeah, you can play a 5-tech. You can probably play a 5-tech.
They're going to run the shit out of the ball, especially with him and the running backs that they have. Like, their offense should be pretty damn good. I don't really know much of the defense, but the offense should be. It's never been really Gus's problem. I mean, he's not the greatest play caller. I wouldn't say, but he's very much in the Cam. I'm not going to compare him to Cam Newton, but he's very much in the Cam Newton mold, and we know what happened when Gus had Cam. So
that's what he said today. He's like, he's the closest thing I've had to Cam. So
yeah, because when they went to the national championship, his quarterback was 5'10", like 185 pounds when they lost to Florida State.
Yeah.
I think I got any other good Vegas questions for you, good media day questions for you.
Did you talk to Deshaun Pace?
No. I talked to him enough. All credit to the kid. I have no idea how he made 2 media days. Like, you don't get much out of him when you ask questions, and that's totally his prerogative to do that. So it's surprising to me that he made 2 media days. But
I think the Pac-12 media day is going on right now too. Maybe you can go over and check out Oregon State and Washington State.
For real?
Yeah, sit down
at Allegiant?
No, I think it's in Vegas, but they don't have 2 teams at Allegiant.
It's at what's the one that just shut down?
Well, the Mirage is about to shut down.
Tropicana.
The Tropicana.
No, that would be more at El Cortez or the New Orleans hotel, Old Vegas, Golden Nugget in the old. Oh, no. Keegan, you should go over to Circa tonight. Check out the greatest sports book in the country. Put a bet down on the Reds or something. It's an incredible.
To do what?
Like win a game, whatever. Like I don't know. You could put a bet down on a Bengals Super Bowl bet. Like something fun. And
you're like a Rams fan, aren't you?
Or whoever you like. I don't know. But go check out the sports book at Circuit. It's awesome. It's it's 2 stories.
You could probably get a good dinner there.
2 stories.
I know you can get a good dinner there.
Dave was there all day.
You can get 12 bottles of wine too.
Keegan's worried about a glass. He's going to get 12 bottles.
Well, Keegan and I roll in different circles.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I mean, I'm not friends with Dan Simon by happenstance.
It's fair. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, buddy? When do you come back? You're leaving tomorrow morning?
Leaving tomorrow morning at 9. I think I'll land about 3 or 4 is when I land. So I'm really looking forward to getting back in town.
And head to Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Yep, and I'll be joining Nightcaps to talk about that stuff too.
Maybe we'll see.
Just so dedicated to the game. Look at this guy. I mean, it's almost 6:30. He's probably going to bed soon.
He's gonna go get dinner and then he's going to bed.
Can't sacrifice those gains, man.
Man, I'm getting cooked.
If you'd have been here at 8, this would have been a lot easier on you. You did this to yourself, Keegan. You know the deal. I know. I deserve it. We indoctrinated you to this the first night you ever did anything at Bearcat Journal. You should have known.
Before I ever did anything.
Right. Like, that's what I mean. Like, your announcement, introductory performance with us was this. So I would think after a year, you would know by now the worst thing to do is what you did today and yesterday. Other than the work. Your work was great. The articles are there. The media availabilities are there. Everything you did in terms of work.
Oh, I consumed all the content, thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I would venture to guess no one produced more content of any school that was there on the 24/7 network than you. So
it's every decision you made outside of that. Josh wants you to let us know how the Rock Hill Chipotle compares.
Sure, it'll be less expensive.
I really feel like if I just didn't post any of the videos or didn't write any articles, but I was like, yeah, I mean, I got absolutely hammered last night and I won like $400 on blackjack. You'd have been like, good.
Yeah, I've been way more impressed.
Rented a Corvette and took it 85 on the highway.
You're learning.
I was throwing chips out of a helicopter going down the strip.
Could have paid for your wedding, dude. What are you thinking?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All of those things would have been.
I mean, at least we know what to get you for a wedding gift now.
Chipotle gift card.
Load you up on Chipotle gift cards. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Maybe you can get Chipotle to cater the wedding.
I went to In-N-Out and got a cheeseburger. Tell me you don't know how to eat in Vegas without telling me you don't know how to eat in Vegas. You're right, Jason.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Was this your first time there?
No, it was my second time. I came when Indiana played Arizona in 2022.
So you did the poor college kid thing when you were out of college.
No, you want to know when I was a poorer college kid when I came that time? I was with my buddy and his aunt and uncle came because they're IU fans. The whole night they comped it. We went to Tom Colicchio's Steakhouse in the MGM Grand.
Yeah.
Had a nice steak, not a bottle of wine, had some fun. And then I came back this time and I was like, you know what?
You're like, that time was so much fun. I'd rather do nothing like what I did the last time. Let's see how much not fun I can have, but tell everybody that I'm still having a blast.
I'm having a great time, guys. This is awesome.
Can you like redeem yourself and like go to Hakkasan tonight for like 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
15. Like, I'll give him 15.
Everyone
just text me at 2 a.m. with a picture of a video of the techno show that you're at, and I will never say anything bad about you again.
Keegan's just making stuff up now. No, Jason. Unfortunately, this is the Keegan that I know.
Yeah, do we need to investigate if this 2022 Indiana Vegas trip even happened? I'm based on the first hour of this podcast, I'm very skeptical.
Everyone who like did the Vegas thing is like coming up to me and be like, man, this would be so much more fun in Dallas, right? And I was like, no, I like it here. I want it to be in Vegas every year.
Who would say it would be more fun in Dallas? That's a real thing people are saying?
Oh, they're just
Big
like
Twelve
the
people.
event is
They're
better
from
in Dallas.
Texas, Dave.
Well, yeah, they didn't have to fly. They could have just driven.
Right. It's Cincinnati people. They're saying shorter flight, and the event was put on better at AT&T, which basically means they think the food was better, which it was.
Which
in Dallas,
the food at AT&T is outstanding. Like,
yeah, but I'm not really rating my trips based on stadium catered food for 500 people.
That mac and cheese.
I'm also not a big J journalist, so nobody likes free food more than the big J journalists.
It's fair. Fair. All right, Keegan. I guess we're done with our lashing.
Well, next time you have an itch to head out there, let me know. I'll show you the good parts.
Okay.
Oh, you're a good sport, my friend. You're a good sport.
I try.
Keegan,
I deserved everything I got.
Steakhouse in Vegas. Yep, I'll go with that one. It'll sound good.
That would work. Don't tell me that wouldn't work.
But actually, it does create a dilemma because I'm not saying he did it right, but he took all of the second guessing out of it. Like when you go to Vegas, you're like, oh, I want to go here, but I also want to go here, but this sounds good. And you don't want to make the wrong choice. By picking Chipotle, he took all of the guesswork out of it, knew exactly what he was going to get, and doesn't regret it at all.
Did you get chicken or steak at Chipotle?
Double chicken. Their steak sucks.
If you got steak, at least
their steak is always food. I got a 14-ounce ribeye at dinner on Monday at the Bellagio Prime Steakhouse. I think that's good enough.
There you go.
You didn't like it.
You didn't like it.
It wasn't the best, but it was a free steak, so it was excellent.
Was it better than Chipotle?
Yes.
If they had cut that steak up in little chunks and put it in your burrito bowl, would you have been satisfied?
Oh, man.
Yeah, queso and chips to eat.
This is just turned into the Keegan Nicholson roast. Brought to you by Totino's Pizza Rolls and the Big 12 Championship or Big 12 Media Day.
I'm so mad you said that because that's what I've titled the whole segment. I already have it set up, ready to hit enter. As soon as you guys end the segment, put the Turtles Brew timestamp. It already says the roast of Keegan Nicholson.
Brought to you by Totino's Pizza Rolls and
Turtles Brew.
Oh, by Turtles Brew. Okay.
Keegan wouldn't have had a drop of that if he had it out there. Would have been sitting in his fridge.
Oh, yeah, I hope they go back to Vegas. I don't know if they will. I'm sure all the olds from Big 12 country will complain and tell them that they want it back in Dallas.
If it goes back to Vegas, Dave, if you get out there, you pay for your flight. I'll take care of the hotel and
Delta, baby, I got Sky Miles. No worries.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You take care of your flight, and we'll meet up out there, and we'll figure it out. Keegan can do the regular content, and then you and I will do the alternative BCJ coverage of Media Day.
Men of the street content.
The funny thing is he's not frozen right now. He's just sitting like that.
He's just like, what? Why did I agree to? He's mad that he cut his gym time short tonight to come on to the podcast. He's like, I was already in the shitter. I should have just stayed there instead of subjecting myself to this for the last hour.
It also probably would have been a lot less if he would have just been like, yeah, I'll be on at 8.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Oh, I love you, Keegan.
Love you too.
You were right when you sent that GIF of the guy in
I don't think you understand how pissed I would have been if that happened. I would have been so mad.
You should have stayed for the weekend, and then you could have gone to the NBA Summer League and checked out my boy DK Dalton Connect.
Yeah, Vegas Summer League's coming up. That's what
45 bucks. $45 for an all-day ticket. My brother's driving in this weekend to go watch.
Jason said he's in for next year. He might not be invited, but I'm in anyway. Those are our type of guests, Jason.
Yeah, just show up.
Just show up. Actually, it was Dave. I was going through pictures of a trip to Vegas with me, my best friend, and at the time our two girlfriends. And in every picture, there's just two random people that apparently we just met as a couple that we met, and they just
the whole time.
Us. They just partied with us the whole time we were in Vegas. We didn't even know these people.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you their names if you paid me $100,000. Like, what are those people's names? I have no idea.
We thought on my bachelor party, we legit thought we pulled a hangover and lost one of my buddies. I was 5 minutes away from calling his wife and going, "We can't find Seth." And then he walked off the elevator and came into the bar that we were at, and we're like, "Where were you?" And
the barbershop.
No, he goes, "I've been passed out in the hotel room the whole time," which made us all look at our buddy who was his roommate, who we sent up to the room to look for him. Our buddy goes, "Yeah, I just went to the elevator lobby and called this girl I've been seeing. I never went up to check on him." And we're like, we thought he was gone, and you weren't going to tell anybody, like you never went to look for him. And that was almost 10 years ago. So,
Keegan, your hair looks great.
It does. I mean, I'm jealous. I couldn't. I
have great hair. I just don't like it anymore. All right. Well, enjoy your night, buddy.
This donation from Connor here. So get Keegan out of here. We got a $9.99. Right. Probably could have got a better steak somewhere for that $9.99 than your damn Chipotle dinner, but whatever.
He just
Connor.
He didn't even. He just hit the X button completely.
Connor asks about Ross Dellinger and the Big Ten stuff, and said he just jumped on with us. Connor, we actually did hit that at the beginning before we started making fun of Keegan, before he was able to jump on. So I would just, when we're done here, just check out the first about 15 minutes of the show. And that was actually, I think, the first thing we kind of led off with.
Well, Keegan was the thing we led off with. And then we did that. And then we roast that. That was, we had like a pre-roast of Keegan and then the actual roast of Keegan. All right, there you go.
Pay some bills.
I feel bad. We were mean. But, you know, what can you do?
He did it to himself.
He did.
Never go for the veggie, whatever.
He voluntarily chose a veggie sandwich with tofu. Like, what do you think I'm going to say? Like, I'm just going to be, oh, yeah, good choice. Probably would have been in my top 3, too.
The fact that his brain thought it was okay to say that and not have us. Right.
Yeah, after the first 30 minutes, it's like, let me throw this out, see how it lands.
All right. That'll be the anti, like, if you want to work at Bearcat Journal, like if there was negative recruiting and I was trying to hire somebody, when they would send them that video of like, you don't want to work for these guys.
This is how your employer would treat you.
Keegan's resignation just hit Bearcat Journal's email.
I quit. He just tweets it out. He doesn't even send it to Jerry. He just tweets it. He's, I quit.
We need him to go to Rock Hill, South Carolina tomorrow. Calm down. Relax. That incredible segment was brought to you by Turtles Brew. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, 6% ABV. It's a bourbon-infused sweet tea. They have lemonade tea, strawberry mint, cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla. There's over 100 locations in Ohio. Visit turtlesbrew.com for more information and locations. They're in Cincinnati, Toledo, expanding in Central Ohio. And as always, a portion of the proceeds go to save the sea turtles.
So I'm now more mad that I'm not there because of what I just saw on Twitter.
What's that?
The Pac-12 is having their scaled down media day, and their commissioner just said,
if anybody has earned the right to drink, it's the Pac-12.
Yeah,
it's at a bar.
It's
at an open bar.
He should go cover it and get free drinks. She said, pointing to the bar, we are drinking tonight. If anyone has earned the right to drink, it's the Pac-12. I like this commissioner. How can the Big 12 hire her once those two people go away?
We need Keegan back.
Yeah, I need to know. Are you going to go get some drinks with the Pac-12? People.
I just texted him to come back.
What are we going to say to him?
If he's going to go to the Pac-12 thing.
Oh, yeah. Do you think he'll jump back on?
He said give him 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
He probably closed up his laptop or something.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I would be, if I saw that, I'd be like, I'm going to cover the Pac-12. I'll go ask some questions.
Oh man, your mom with the from the top rope. He won't take a Jello shot at the tailgate, but he'll eat a veggie tofu sandwich.
Well, he would say I'm working, so I can't take a Jello shot.
Yeah, if you're working, you probably shouldn't eat a veggie tofu banh mi sandwich either.
There's no circumstance you should ever eat that.
Right. It's fair. It's fair. I mean, she's right though.
Oh yeah.
If you're the Pac-12, like life is real bad right now.
Let's
bad.
Let's tell some good stories and drink away our sorrows.
I mean, if only Bill Walton was there.
Conference of Champions.
Pickle, why didn't you have any, you didn't have a roast of Keegan? Sheet up there?
Pickle? Went to the doctor yesterday, so she's feeling good again, jumping up on the desk.
Gotcha.
What else do you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess Matt wants you to talk about Ohio recruiting in 2025.
I don't know what
I'm going to sit this one out.
Have you talked about it at all? I don't want to.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit.
I mean, let's see. How do I want to phrase this? It's not nothing, but I think I'm always trying to be in the middle on stuff like this. Like, you got to do better. There's, I'm not going to pretend that you don't. I posted something somewhat recently. I think it ended up being like 17 top 50 kids in the what I would air quotes call local, some up to date and whatever. And they've essentially gone over 17. Now, not every one of those, they probably had a high level of it. It wasn't like these are 17 of our most sought after targets. Sorry, Keegan, real quick. Pac-12 Media Day happening right now, open bar. Get there now and start covering Oregon State and Washington State, and let's see how many free beers you can put down.
Open bar.
Every casino's an open bar if I sit down and gamble.
You don't have to gamble there. Their media day has a bar in it. Their commissioner just said if anyone deserves to drink, it's the Pac-12.
She literally said
Yeah,
you're getting hammered all night.
You think they're going to check credentials? There's 2 freaking schools there. Like, any media attention they get, I think they'll be happy with.
Keegan, I work for 24/7 Sports. Say that. That's all you got to say.
Wear your Big 12 credential.
Yeah, they'll probably let you in with that.
What does it go up to and be like? What does it feel like to not get picked to go to the Big 12?
Are the Johns here?
Where is George Klikoff?
All right, we just wanted to let you know. Pac-12 Media Days.
We're just looking out for you, hoping to make your last night in Vegas an enjoyable one.
Aaron said you sent your resignation letter. Aaron said you sent your resignation letter as soon as you left the last room.
Yeah, no, not yet. I don't think I'm
Not
in a
yet.
position to signing.
But if you were,
Yeah.
Well, we love you, Keegan.
Oh.
I want at least
Yeah, I love
two
you guys
videos.
too.
I want at least 2 videos on Twitter from the Pac-12 Media Days.
Go get beers with the Beaver
That's your only.
Get some beers with the Beaver and the what is Washington State? Are they a Wildcat? Cougars.
The
Cougars.
Coug.
Yeah.
The Beavs and the Cougs.
Beaver
Nothing says Vegas like the Beavs
Like
and the Cougs.
Beaver's flapping his big tail out there when he's 9 Miller Lights in.
The only content demands Chad has is 2 videos from Pac-12 Media Days.
I trust you. I trust you to get your work done.
6 hours from now, there's going to be a video on Twitter. Keegan's going to have his lanyard media badge around his head, standing on top of the bar, singing the Oregon State fight song.
The Conference of Champions.
All right, go eat your fish and chips.
You let me know how much that Uber ride is to the open bar at the Big 12 Media Days, and I'll send you some money, buddy.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Bye, Keegan.
Bye.
All right, sorry.
All right.
Go ahead.
Back to answering Matt's question. It's
Beaves
not
and Coog sounds like a
Beaves
really
and
bad
Coog.
strip club in Vegas.
no comment. It's not nothing, but it's not, to me, it's not like the worst thing ever. And I say this independently of the recent decommits that they had. I'm not going to say this in regard to them as players because I don't really know enough about them to paint them this way. But I think there's...
He liked them. They took commitments from them.
Right,
They liked
sure.
them.
So I think there is, though, still this faction of the fan base that hangs on too much to Cincinnati kids, local kids, regardless of are they good enough. Right. So that's why I'm saying this independent of those 2 kids, because clearly the staff thought they were good enough. They took commitments from them. But, you know, there is this, and I don't know if, I know you had talked about the whole like rooting interest part, so I don't want to touch on that. I just want to make sure
you can't, like, that wasn't anything me saying that's what's happening. That was me like remembering, like, honestly, the reason that stuck in my brain is because when I saw it was in like 2017, 18, when all those kids were staying home and the impact that I thought, was part of those kids were at Nippert Stadium, were growing up, were around. What are you laughing at now?
My son.
Oh, okay.
Rachel just texted me something that made me laugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those kids were around when UC was going to the Orange and the Sugar.
Yeah, right. Do I want a ton of dudes from the area? Yes, absolutely. You have to do better than what they've done in the 2025 class. Yes. But at the same time, I don't want them taking guys from the area if they don't feel like they're good enough.
Right.
And we can sit here and say, well, they, why don't they think they're good enough? I don't know. Like, that's not for me to necessarily say. I don't watch these kids. I don't scout them. I don't. So it's like, there is a bit of a catch-22. It's like, okay, we can take some more kids from the area, but then if they don't pan out, we're bad at developing talent. But we can't really say, well, we didn't really want to take them anyway, but we caved to the pressure of the fan base saying you got to get more kids from Cincinnati no matter what. And so either way, they're kind of screwed. Any staff is not just this one, any staff is kind of screwed if you try to play that game of local over anything. And you got, we're going to coach them up. We're going to develop them. That's great in theory. But, look at the landscape of college football. Every team, not every team, but a lot of teams are having a lot of transfers for a lot of different reasons. So if you take, we'll just say 3 kids that are in that, I don't know, say 40 to 50, top 50 in the state range, 35 to 50, and none of them pan out, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really do anybody any good. The fans are upset because now we're not keeping the Cincinnati kids. The coaches are like, well, we didn't really want to take them to begin with. And the coaching staff should never, ever cave to a fan base when it comes to really anything, but especially, the whims and the wants of when it comes in recruiting. But it's on them to keep kids too. Like, you took commitments, whatever you feel like you can do. Now, I'm not real, personally, this is just me talking. I'm not real big on NIL for incoming players. I'm much more on the give it to your guys, especially the ones that have earned it. It's not a reward.
I'm more for it in the portal.
Oh yeah. Because at least those guys have shown me, like, I'm going after this guy because he's either proven he can play on whatever level that is, right, or he's a guy that we recruited our asses off for and we didn't get, but now he's in the portal that we still think he's really good. Or he's a dude like, I'll just use like a Jordan Robinson for an example, like from an SEC school, was in line to be a contributor this season, decided to leave for whatever reason. Like, that makes total sense as to someone that I would pursue and be willing to throw some NIL at. I'm not throwing NIL money at a 16 or 17-year-old that I have no idea what he's gonna. That's like just throwing good money. Like, that's a waste to me. Like, we're not talking about 5-stars that we're trying to beat Ohio State and Michigan out for, and offering them an extra $100,000 or something gets the job done. Like, I'm not playing that game. Like, I would not play that game if I was them. In UC's current situation, it does not make any sense to play that game. If somebody else wants to do it because they're a new staff or they're tired of losing, so they've got this big influx of cash because they feel like that's the best way to drum up momentum and energy, let them do it. Go ahead. And it might work out for them. And they can go, look how well this worked out for us. Great. I think the majority of the time that is not a winning strategy.
It creates a domino effect, right? Like, so they do spend a bunch of money in high school NIL. And then you get to the portal portion where okay, we need defensive backs, we need tight ends, or whatever the case may be. And then everybody wants to know, well, why aren't we getting any of these guys in the portal that can be immediate stopgaps for the holes that we have? Well, because all our money is invested on redshirt freshmen that we don't really know anything about in terms of their relevance for another year or two.
And I think they're doing in that space. I'm not super up on it, but like, it's not an endless supply. Like, where every year it resets, and we know that there's this new boom coming to the bank account, so to speak, and then we're always going to have it. And it doesn't really matter if we, I'm not going to say waste, but if we want to do that for this group of player, it's not going to bite us in the ass, because we know come this time next year, we'll have the exact same, stockpile of money. Like, let's be real. If they have another 3-9 season, I guarantee you they're not going to have as much NIL money as they did this year.
Right.
Like, so.
Well, but next year starts revenue sharing, so that's a whole different.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, from that specific.
I know. I'm just saying next year the math changes again next year for whatever reason.
Like, I have, I with the transfer portal the way that it currently is constructed, and especially with what you just talked about with revenue sharing and whatnot, like, I'm not saying high school recruiting isn't still super important, but I'm finding myself not getting as wrapped up in the day-to-day of it and the commits and the decommits of it, because you do have ways to save yourself, so to speak. 5 years ago, if you had a bunch of kids decommit, like, you were going down your board because you had to get X number of high school kids every year. Now you're like, I'm not going to take the chance on someone that we don't think is good enough. I will wait and see what the transfer portal presents us with a player that might even be far, like, not 1-for-1, but like linebacker decommits. Well, we might need a linebacker, but let's get a linebacker that's played for 2 years. That's, to me, more beneficial than a linebacker that we don't know if he's any good or not. And they're two things, recruiting and the season. But, like, another reason I'm not paying as much attention to the day-to-day of it is, like, if they don't have a good year this year, next year is pretty much make or break. So, doesn't really matter. Like, honestly, like, who's in the 2025 class, not that big of a deal to me. If you go
unless they figure it out.
Right. If you go 6-6 or better, then yes, it matters. But then you should also theoretically be building that momentum for the back end of the 2025 class, the portal, and then the 2026 class. If you go 3-9 again or 4-8 again, 2025 season, it's make or break. I don't really care who was in the 2025 class, because none of those guys are going to make or break the 2025 season.
I did have another portion of this topic that I don't think has ever really been discussed that's been on my mind watching a lot of this. And this is not to say it's in relation to anybody in this class in particular, but it's a general thing. One of the biggest things that has always kind of been the mindset around the city, Dave, is here are our elite guys, and we think they should be at Ohio State, Notre Dame, whatever, Michigan. Michigan doesn't really dip down into Cincinnati, but you get my point. Like, these are the guys that we think are going to be like blue chippers.
Right.
And we think these are guys that, are Ohio State good, are Notre Dame good, whatever. And then there's another group that Cincinnati has been in, but fighting tooth and nail against the Big Ten, against Kentucky, like whatever. But what the coaches feel like in Cincinnati is, here are these guys that are D1 guys, right? Probably like MAC level guys, maybe a little above, maybe a little below. they feel that Cincinnati, those are the guys that Cincinnati should be taking. Obviously, they're the guys that Cincinnati could get fairly easily because they're a MAC guy or slightly above or slightly below, like give and take on the margins, whatever. But there's never been this push that like our best guys that Cincinnati should be in the mix. They'll visit Cincinnati, they'll talk to Cincinnati, but there's never really been, outside of a couple guys, there's never really been this momentum that those guys that have all these other options, that Cincinnati is right there at the top, like that's where they're pushing them to go. They do not, the train does not move in that direction. And then there's that second group where it's like, well, Cincinnati's involved, but we're not necessarily helping them. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail with the other options. But when Cincinnati, I'm telling you, when Cincinnati doesn't take these lower level kids, it's seen as an affront. Oh, what? They're not good enough for you?
For sure. It's the top group, like you said. Then you have the next group that I feel like they slow play UC. They show the interest, but they're always hanging on, hoping to somebody else's top group falls through, and now we become their new target. And then, like you said, if UC doesn't offer the local kids that are in that, they're in the top 50, but they're fringy, then they're like bashing UC because they won't offer the kids that they want, that they feel are good enough to play at UC, when UC's like, no, they're not good enough to play here.
Right.
We want to recruit the best guy that you have. You're pushing him somewhere else. You're pushing another kid on us that we don't think is good enough. And then when we don't take him, we're the bad guy.
And that means they're not getting in on the next blue chip kid. It's a bad cycle for whatever reason. And look, let's be honest, Dave. A part of this is because there were 80 years that this football program was not good.
Yeah. I mean, you're surrounded by three, outside of the recent run of Alabama, I mean, I would argue the three most successful college football programs in the history of the sport. I mean, Ohio State's never had a losing season. Michigan, I think, maybe has the most wins.
They do.
Michigan or Notre Dame, and then you have Notre Dame. Like, all fairly close, all with big polls in Ohio, in Southwest Ohio. So it's like, yeah, they're, and then you have the drag of the Big Ten, which I've always found hilarious. It's like, you're not actually going to Ohio State just because you maybe get to play them once every whatever. Like, congratulations.
Right.
But we see it. We know it's a thing. Like, we're not gonna air out anybody's shit, but like, we know it's a thing, guys. Like, just push to the Big Ten, because it ain't Ohio State, but it's still the Big Ten. I don't understand that, and this is coming from like an SEC guy who always laughs when Kentucky fans chant SEC. I'm like, cool, you're in the same league as Alabama. So, it's not the same, guys. But I don't know. I mean, they got to win more games. You got to do a better job, whatever that means. I mean, maybe you do have to bite the bullet on a couple kids that you feel you can develop, like that have some of the.
But again, the problem there is they last for 2 years. They don't make it.
And then they
transfer out. And then that coach says, my guy never got a shot. They took him, but they never gave him a shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious cycle. And Reed, I agree to an extent. Win some damn games and they will come. But I also think you're dealing with something that is much larger in terms of history, that you have to break a complete century cycle of history.
I mean, and I'll
change this local momentum. And I'm specifically talking about those top guys, Dave. Like,
yes, for sure.
If you want to recruit locally, you want to be involved for the best guys.
Like Quentin Simmons, top 5 player in the state. They absolutely, he was easy top 3 player on their board for a long time. They absolutely wanted him. Went to, goes to Kentucky. So, or, commits to Kentucky. Well, so, and any kid that wants to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge that at all, because I grew up going to UC football and basketball games my entire life. And I had no interest in going to any college in Ohio. So I don't fault anyone for that line of thinking. But, the results are the results, and it's tough to say that it's a mega huge priority, and it might be, but then you got to get some dudes. So you can kind of say that it's a mega priority, but then I'm left to go, well, what's the strategy then?
Here's the other thing, just on a broad spectrum for me though, Dave. Right now, you're swimming in this pond from like 85 to 87 rating wise. There's just so many fish in that pond. Like, that is not a poorly stocked pond with only giant fish. Like,
it's probably the biggest pool of, I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on where you want to do each cutoff, but like,
sure,
85 to 88. I'm sure there's a million of those. The way those kids are rated, like, there's probably just a shit ton of them.
Right. So go get good players. You know what you can't do? You can't miss locally and then backfill with bad players. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
That's the thing, is like, do I want them to get a bunch of good players from Cincinnati? Yes. But if they don't, I don't want them taking players from Cincinnati for the sake of saying we got 7 local kids. Or any of them any good. Like, if I asked you when we're there for signing day or whatever, when we talk to Zach in the 10 minutes before he comes on, I don't want him going, yeah, we took 7 dudes, but I don't think any of them can play. I'd be like, well, then why the hell did you take them?
Right. Agreed. I made that point and I think people took what I said sideways, but when talking about, like, there were 3 or 4 guys in that 30 to 50 range, 25 to 50 range in Ohio that they passed on because for whatever reason they didn't feel they were a fit.
Yeah, I know the reason for one of them. I'm not going to say it because it doesn't do any service to anybody.
Right. My point being, if they take those 3 guys, everybody's happy, even though internally they know those guys either aren't a fit or they don't think are talented enough or whatever the case may be. But now it's okay because you checked a couple boxes, even though internally, we don't think that guy's ever going to see the field for us here for whatever specific reason. You took him, but now it's okay because you have checked the box on, well, we got, now we have 5 top 50 kids.
I mean, Jason brings up a great point, is you just don't have the time anymore to take the chance on the kids that you don't think are maybe good enough, but might be in a couple of years if they develop, because they'll just leave.
The other part of that, Dave, is it's a little more possible to do when you're winning. Because we saw the guys stuck around under.
Dude, Chad, I'm not going to say his name, but the guy on the 21 team and the 22 team that I said was having the best college experience of anybody on that team. Better than Sauce Gardner, better than Des Ritter. He now, because they were winning, he stayed because he was having a great time.
Yeah.
If you're not winning, I'll just go somewhere else where maybe I'm not not exactly what I was looking for, but I have a chance to like win games on Saturday
or play.
Maybe both.
Right. If I'm not going to win here, if I'm going to be here, not win and sit, so somewhere.
Royer. No, that's funny, but it's not. It's not Royer.
Not wrong.
He played a lot more than the guy I'm referring to, but
I know. But Ryan was also a walk-on, so
right. Yeah.
His parents didn't have as good a time as the name Davis thinking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, okay, I'm losing and I'm not playing. I'm gonna go somewhere else and do one of the two.
Right.
Pretty smart kid.
Yep.
Just hide and listen. Power hour. I mean, I don't know. It punt block king. The Brian Mason Make-A-Wish special. Ryan Royer gets punt block.
No, it's yeah. We just talked about it for a considerable amount of time, and I think that's a good conversation. And I try not to be, indifferent on it, but it's just not, to me, it's just not the same as it was even, 3 years ago. Like, I don't get hung up on the, now there are always caveats, and,
sure.
If the very, very best players in your class are leaving, then there's then we'll have that discussion.
On that note, Michael Skinner gets moved up to 212 nationally today, becomes a pretty comfortable 4-star, and you know what happens then, right?
I still get a kick out of, like, not even 2 months ago he was unranked.
But what happened today?
Well, yeah, Kentucky offered. But, like, kid was not ranked at the end of May, and now he's one of the top 200 players in the country. Yeah.
And, the apple of Kentucky's eye, I'm sure.
What a couple months.
He got a lot better since May, Dave.
So much.
At the start of May, he got a lot better. A lot better.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's, I love it. Love, recruiting is fun to cover. It's fun to talk about. But it's hard to
South Carolina offer soon.
For sure. He's the number 3 player in the state. I'm pretty surprised they haven't already. Like, that's kind of stunning to me. But you can, there are ways to combat these type of situations much, I won't say easier, but there's just more opportunities.
Sure.
The hurt isn't as hurtful nowadays versus 5 years ago.
What my favorite part of the week last week was, Dave? Listening to Ohio State fans really in their feelings about Oregon and Phil Knight.
Why? What did Oregon and Phil Knight do?
I think they got 3 guys that were down to Ohio State and Oregon Oregon did the deed and made sure that they picked Oregon. But again, that's now legal.
I mean, Ohio State paid like $15 million for this year's team. Like, what do you?
Right.
You have this year's, like, if you don't win the national title this year, buddy, like,
right?
I'd be more worried about that than getting beat on the recruiting trail.
But, like, I saw it a bunch last week that, Phil Knight's just buying Oregon a team. Like,
how the hell do you think you got Quinshon Judkins when you already have Travion Henderson? Like, yeah, not a lot of brain cells up that part of the state, but whatever.
All right. We've had too much fun already. I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I don't.
Good. Thanks to Keegan for being a good sport. We love him. He set himself up for that.
In so many ways.
I mean,
so many ways.
It's just not how we would do a trip to Vegas.
No, it's not.
Maybe, you know what he's probably doing, Dave? I bet he went to one of the resorts and he found one of those like old-timey like shoe shine booths.
Yeah.
And he's getting a good shoe shine.
Sure.
Am I going to Rock Hill? No. Kelsey has Team Keegan. Kelsey has club tryouts Saturday, and then high school starts. So I am not going to be able to get out in July, unfortunately, but Keegan will. So literally, Keegan is coming home tomorrow and then heading straight to Rock. I told him, like, why didn't you just book a flight from Vegas to Charlotte? And then I remembered why he couldn't do that, Dave. You know why he can't do that?
I don't, because he probably can't rent a car.
There you go.
Which that's a whole nother stupid law in and of itself.
He's 24. He's not allowed to rent a car.
He can rent a U-Haul though.
It's true. From
You just have him pull up into Rock Hill.
no, you could rent one of those pickup trucks from Home Depot for like $20 a day.
He'd have to get to. He needs another haircut.
You get an Uber from the airport to Home Depot. Rent you pickup truck.
I wasn't going to tell him, Dave. That wasn't a great haircut.
I don't take any hair. I'll make fun of people's haircuts.
All right, we'll be back next week, hopefully with somebody to preview the Big 12.
Yes, definitely.
Big 12. And we will continue that series. But that's going to do it. Love you, Keegan. We'll see you next time. It's the BCJ podcast presented by the Holy Grail right here on BearcatJournal.com.